NPCs was to provide characters who could dynamically react to players in real time. The company said it had guardrails in place to help stop the AI companions from hallucinating, being overly toxic, and going completely off script, like I literally just talked about. That would be great. What? Give me an example. That's the only thing that would make
Like, I don't know. I was tempted to just edit this into some gameplay from Fallout 3 where Jericho swears his ass off all the time, but that'd be a pain in the ass. On the subject, as somebody who often speaks out against AI, I have like a daily post level of consistency about how against AI I am. I just want to make, just like I did with the electric vehicles daily dose of gas post over on the New World Order news side of things. Figure might as well elaborate a little bit more on my position with regards to AI in video games, AI art, because I talk about that just as much as I do the whole electric car, driverless car situation. So, what exactly is my position? Well, this is actually a nuanced thing. You would think I would just be straight 100% no AI at all. But for me, this is actually kind of a nuanced thing. We had generative video games back in the day. A lot of, I think, like the early Elder Scrolls had generative dungeons. So I think with the potential but the problem with those games is that all those dungeons are kind of samey. It really depends upon the assets that you put in there, right? It's all garbage in, garbage out when you get to computers like this, when you expect a step of the process to be generated by the computer and not you. So you're putting in your input and having it transform that into the product as opposed to guiding it every step of the way. So you make assets. Back then, I assume you make assets, you put them in, and it procedurally generates the environment. And that's how you end up with that kind of samey level design. And that's why you don't see games like that too often. But so let's assume now, if we're going to use AI, that the AI is going to be, I mean, worst case scenario, you're talking about people losing their jobs. The AI is going to be designing the assets that are put in the level. I'm wholly against the AI art side of it, right? I don't want any AI generated imagery. I don't want what I'm looking at to be made by AI. I don't want this procedurally generated, because that's basically what it's going to be. It's going to be, unless a lot of strict parameters. See, I don't see, when you get to a certain point, I don't see as many people losing their jobs in a certain way. Like, when it comes to we've all seen the videos of like Skyrim that's been modded with chatbots and AI so that you can have these whole conversations with the characters, the NPC characters. So I'm not really against that kind of shit. That's interesting. And you would still have to, it would be an addition to Skyrim. Let's say Skyrim was made like that originally, with the chatbot stuff. You would still have had to have make the entire story, right? So that structure would be there, that solid structure of the story would be there for the game to be the game that it is. You still have to make the fucking game. Nobody would give a fuck about Skyrim if its original content was gone and all you had was the chatbot shit. And if you're not prompting them and they don't have the story and the lore and all of that, then you're basically talking to a generic random chatbot no matter which NPC you talk to, because they don't have the background context of anything. So you still got to make the game. And then you've added another layer of depth to it, because beyond the standard dialogue options of the story, then you can fuck around and be like, so, did somebody steal your sweet roll? And then have a whole conversation go off of that, a whole random conversation that's contextualized by the lore and what's written there already. So I'm not against AI being in the dialogue in that regard, right? But also you got to think about like who this is. It's Ubisoft, so obviously this isn't in good faith. But now what I will say, from the description here in AJS News, it doesn't sound like the whole game is going to be made by AI. It sounds like it's just going to be you're going to have AI bots instead of the traditional video game NPC, the traditional linear video game NPC. They're talking about, oh, don't worry, we've got guardrails so the thing doesn't hallucinate and doesn't become toxic. I'm just like, man, you know, video game glitches. Like, I mean, this will be the proving ground. If we're going to have a HAL 9000 situation, that's what none of these movies take into account, right? Like The Terminator, 2001 Space Odyssey, none of these movies, iRobot, none of them take into account that there would be a whole portion of society that would be canaries in the coal mine, gamers, who would be sitting there going, oh shit, my fucking video game character is acting totally psychotic and trying to kill me. Maybe don't put this in a robot body. You know, we got a great chance at surviving our own stupidity here. We're so smart, we became dumb. We went full circle. Fucking well, we got a real chance. I think. We're the early warning, frontline canary in the coal mine indicators here. I don't really like the idea of, like, if you're worried about your video game character hallucinating, like, and of course it's Ubisoft, so you know it's gonna be it's not gonna be some normal single player shit. It's gonna be some bullshit. They're gonna have you connected to the internet for whatever reason. Like, if it was a normal single player game with an AI programmed on the disc and you didn't have your console connected to the internet, I just don't want it to hallucinate its way out of my Xbox into a Reaper drone.